Morning, church, and good morning to everyone who's watching us via the internet. We really appreciate you joining us today. I want to take just a moment before we get into the lesson to remind you, next Sunday we are going to start Bible classes again. It'll be on a limited basis, but we'll be offering an adult class in here that I'm going to be calling Living Letters. Back in the fellowship hall, ages 3 through 5th grade, we'll have a class. And then Barrett's going to be conducting a class for the 6th to 12th graders, and that'll be outside, weather permitting. So those classes will last about 20 minutes, and they'll start 5 minutes after we end this service. So we would encourage you to be here for class and bring your children for class. And we continue to take baby steps back toward normal, whatever normal is anymore. But we look forward to beginning that. We've been talking about wisdom and about wisdom that comes from above, God's wisdom. And this morning, I want us to focus in particular on James chapter 4, verses 13 through 16, where James basically tells us we need to pay attention to who's really in control in this world if we're going to live our lives in a wise way. Let's read that together. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we'll go into such and such a country and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. Yet you don't know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you're a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance, and all such boasting is evil. A lot of truths that we could pull from this, but because of time and so on, there's 3 that I want us to focus on this morning that I think are especially apropos at a time like this. Number 1, that statement, you do not know what tomorrow will bring. Now, the fact of the matter is that we like to think we do. We like to live as if we know what tomorrow's going to bring. Well, tomorrow, I've got my boat hooked up, and we're going to go out to the lake. We're going to do a little fishing. We're going to do a little skiing. We're going to eat a picnic lunch. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. That's what we've got planned. And because we think in kind of general parameters, we think that we know what the future holds, and we forget that we really don't. For instance, you've got the boat hooked up, and you pull out the trailer, and here you go out to the lake, and you get about 4 or 5 miles out of town, and you hear kaboom! And you see that old trailer rocking, and you got a flat tire that you didn't plan for. And you just remember, I haven't got a spare. Just changed your morning, didn't it? Just changed your plans. The fact of the matter is that we don't know what tomorrow holds. And all it takes is when we start getting honest about the little details that always come up that we deal with. I'm not saying every crisis is a major one. But the fact of the matter is that we really don't know what tomorrow holds. It is a kind of prideful delusion, I would call it, that we like to think, well, I'm in control. It's going to be just fine. Life holds infinite possibilities, brothers and sisters. It really does. And that's good. It's also not bad, but just challenging in the sense that because life holds so many possibilities, we really can't hope to begin to know what tomorrow holds because we're not infinitely wise. We don't have access to all that information and to all those possibilities, and they would overwhelm us if we did. Any honest predictor is going to qualify his or her predictions. You know, I'm fascinated listening to experts. Well, what's the price of oil going to be after Christmas? If the old boy or the woman is honest, what's she going to say? You're going to hear them qualify, aren't they? Well, if supply remains about like it is now, and if refineries don't close, and if nothing happens in the Middle East, and if, then possibly the price will be blah. Now, in essence, what are they saying? I'm making an educated guess. That's what it amounts to. That's all an expert can ever claim, is that they're making an educated guess. They don't know. In so many ways, this holds true. I don't know if you've seen the movie A Bridge Too Far. It's a movie about World War II. And one of the major points that's made in A Bridge Too Far is that you absolutely cannot predict all the circumstances that are going to come up in wartime. If you've ever read anything about the military, you know that they'll plan an operation to a T, and then once that operation starts, it's all up in the air because they do not know what's going to happen. And that definitely happens in A Bridge Too Far. The Allies make all kinds of wonderful plans. They've got this bridge that they're going to take, and that will help them get troops into Germany, and nothing goes right. All kinds of circumstances come up, things happen that they didn't anticipate, and we end up losing a bunch of troops and have a minor disaster on our hands. And it's just one of those things. You just don't know what the future holds. You can plan and plan and plan, and something can come along and just blow it apart, and it does. To me, boy, an example the other day that just jumped out at me. I don't know if you saw when that, what was it, 4 million pounds of ammonium nitrate, some huge amount, blew up in Beirut. They said that was the equivalent of 1/3 of the nuclear bomb that took out Nagasaki. I mean, it was that big of an explosion. But I don't know if you saw, there was a young woman, a just beautiful young lady, just got married. And they were taking pictures after the wedding. And she's radiant, she's smiling, and she's posing, and all this is going on. And then, ka-wham. And everything around her just begins to shatter and fall apart and blow away. And luckily, apparently, providentially, she wasn't hurt. Didn't appear to be. How do you predict I'm going to get married and the world's going to blow up? You can't know that. She couldn't know that. Nobody anticipated that. But that's life. We don't know what tomorrow holds. And so the only reasonable way, I believe, that we can approach the future is with the attitude that James gives us here, which is, yeah, we're going to do this if the Lord wills. And that needs to be to utmost in our thinking. You know, it's not wise to try to play God. And this is the second truth that I want us to consider. Because if we don't watch it, it's real easy for us to try to climb up on that throne that we've got no right to climb up on and act like we're in control when we're not. Listen to James. Instead, we ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is you boast in your arrogance, all such boasting is evil. Are you familiar with the poem Invictus? Most everybody, if they're not familiar with the title, have heard the lines, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Really? I mean, we love to spout that. I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. But are we? Remember the rich fool? Was he the master of his fate? Was he the captain of his soul? Why, I'm going to tear down my little barns. I'm going to build bigger ones. I'm already wealthy, and I'm just going to get wealthier. And we'll just, I don't need to depend on anybody because, I've got everything I need, right? And what does God say to him? You fool. Tonight, your soul is going to be required of you. You think you're in control, buddy. Let me tell you, I'm going to show you, you're not. Wealth gets in the way a whole lot of times of of the proper understanding that we ought to have of our relationship with God. Let me ask you something. Does being rich help you avoid cancer? Being rich keep you from having a heart attack? Being rich keep you from getting a divorce? Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. His ex-wife is now the richest woman in the world. Didn't keep him from getting divorced, did it? We look at wealth as this insulated. It's going to protect us from all these things and let us control our destiny. No. It doesn't work that way. And listen to James, because this is really important. And the language that he uses here, I think, is very important. We hear, as it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is misguided. All such boasting is in error. That's not what he says, is it? What's he call it? He says, man, it's evil. It's not just misguided or misled. It's evil. Why? Because in reality, mentally, you're trying to climb up on the throne. You're saying, I can rule and I can reign in my life. I don't need you. I can control things. Man, that's evil. That's not just wrong-headed. That's blasphemous. That's evil. If the Lord wills, very, very important words, brethren, and incredibly important, I believe, for our perspective on life, for our mental health, in a lot of ways. We make a huge mistake if we forget who's in control. If we start falling back on that fundamental wrong assumption that somehow we rule, we reign, we're the master of our fate. Let me give you a couple of biblical examples that I think really drive this home about the importance of remembering who's in control. Elijah, 1 Kings 19. He's had this contest with the prophets of Baal. He's won. God's won, all right? And everything's wonderful, right? Wrong. Jezebel's after him, remember? And he flees the country way south, clear down into the Sinai Peninsula, clear to Sinai. Hides out in a cave in Sinai. And sits there and licks his wounds and basically says, God, just let me die. I'm the only one left. There's nobody else. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm through. It's over. God's response is really interesting. And what I want you to notice about his response is this. He's going to tell Elijah, Elijah, I've got stuff for you to do. You're not done yet, bud. And he outlines what he wants him to do and tells him, go take care of this. Here's what he's saying. Here's what God's saying. Think about it. Elijah, you think it's over, man. You think it's done. The battle's lost. Bud, you are wrong. I'm not done. I'm not even close to done. There's a lot left to do. And you may want to throw in the towel. I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm not through. I mean, he's whining about Jezebel. Is God fixing to take Jezebel out? Yeah. He's wanting to basically retire. I'm done. Is God going to let him retire? Yeah. He's got a guy picked out to take his place. But God is in control. Okay? Here's Elijah all beside himself over everything's lost. And God, it's not lost. Okay? It's not lost. You just keep doing your thing. Trust me, I'm going to take care of it. It's going to be okay. Esther. People ask, why is Esther in the Old Testament? Because Esther, remember, doesn't have the name of God in it. And I would argue it's got the name of God all over it. God's name may not be in it, but God's all over it. And think about this. Again, the Jews here, what are the Jews here? The Jews here, this nutcase Haman has decided that he's going to wipe us out, and he's got permission from the king to do it. Oh my, what are we going to do? The end of the world. We're fixing to all die in a few months. They have no idea, do they, that this beautiful Jewish girl is now queen. And her cousin Mordecai is one of the king's most trusted advisors. And things are fixing to really get bad, but not for the Jews, for old Haman. Because what's going to happen to Haman? He's going to end up hanged, isn't he? On the same place that he had designed and built to hang Mordecai. Oops. What's the message? Folks, God's in control. He's got it handled. It's okay. It's going to work out. Doesn't matter how bleak it may look to you, he's not done yet. Think about the apostles on Friday evening. You know, I don't know if they were all cowering together, if they were split up. I know by Sunday they're together. But can you imagine what the conversation must have been like Friday night with Jesus in the tomb? Oh man, it's all lost. It's all over. What are we going to do? And they're miserable, aren't they? Why? Because they forgot God's in control. And he is. I just want to throw this out about the election. Everybody's all torn up over the election. Oh, what happens if Biden gets elected? What happens if Trump gets elected? God's will. God's will. If you think you're smart enough to tell God how it ought to go, good luck. God knows way more than we do about what's going to happen in the future. Way more. God knows what's best for his kingdom, for his people, for this country. God knows. And if we get up on November 4th and one or the other's been elected, or do you have to wait till the 7th to find out who's been elected or whatever, how it goes? Brothers and sisters, God's in control. And there are so many factors we have no idea about, we have no control over. We don't know what his plans are. We don't know what's going to happen in January or February next year. We don't. Did anybody predict COVID-19? Did anybody predict that flood last year? We got no clue what may happen. And all kinds of things could turn upside down and change just like that. And we have no idea what those are. And we faunch and worry and get all tore up and all that. And bottom line, God's in control. And he knows what's best. Are we going to trust him? Are we going to trust him? That he knows more than we do. That he knows what's best. And go forward. Are we going to sit in the cave like Elijah and suck our thumb and whine and cry and moan about how we're the only ones left when that's God rules and God reigns, brothers and sisters? He does. He's in control. That's so important that we keep that in mind. So important that we understand that and honor that. God sees, Isaiah 46 verse 10, he sees the end from the beginning. Now, if that doesn't boggle your mind, it should. See, here we are. How's it going to turn out on November 3rd? I haven't got a clue. Does he know? He absolutely does. He knows who's going to be elected. Well, how's it going to go in the Senate? How's it going to go in the House? How's it going to go in individual elections? He knows already. He's not waiting for the results. He knows. He sees the end from the beginning. Shouldn't we trust him? Just trust him that he knows what he's doing and he's going to work it out. And ultimately, it will be okay. And I may not necessarily enjoy how he works it out. I may face all kinds of difficulties in the way he works it out, but he's going to work out what's best, isn't he? Because all things work together for good. It's not wise for Dan to try to play God. It's not wise for any of us to try to play God. Let's trust him. And thirdly, we very much need to respect the beauty and the brevity of life. James 4 verse 14, the latter part. You are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Several times in Scripture, Job, for instance, will make reference to the brevity of life, how short life is. And it really is. You know, when you're 6, 60 seems like forever, doesn't it? But those of you who have turned 60 or better, is 60 all that long? It's not, is it? Pretty short time, really. The fact of the matter is that all of our lives, no matter how long they might be, are just not that long. And so I think it's very important that we understand that life is an amazing gift. That what you enjoy is incredibly rare. Oh, think with me for a moment about this, because this is very important. We live in the midst of this magnificent universe, don't we? A part of the Milky Way, which is one galaxy among gazillions of galaxies with gazillions of stars and all this kind of stuff. How much of that is living? And how much of that is non-living? Now, it's not dead, but it's non-living. As far as we know, off this earth, in this solar system, there's not a thing that is living. Huge planets, all kinds of gases and all kinds of minerals and all kinds of stuff. But what's alive? Nothing. The only life you see in this whole solar system, and as far as we know, to the best of our knowledge right now, and you know, scientists are extrapolating, well, there's got to be more life out there, there's got to be, well, they ain't found it yet. The only life we know of right now in this whole universe is on this little blue ball that we live on. Third planet from the sun. That's it. Now, not only is life rare, because most of the earth is what? The vast majority of the mass of the earth and everything is non-living. Not dead, it's never been alive. It's non-living. The vast majority of it's non-living. But in this envelope on the surface of it is what we call life. Now, it's life because it can reproduce. It's life because there's some degree of consciousness about it, right? It's life. But it is incredibly rare. Now, let me take it a little bit farther. So, is a virus alive? Is a bacteria alive? It's alive. But is it life like your life and I'm life? No. How much of the life that exists on this earth is conscious of its own existence? Not very much. And how much of the life that exists on this earth can think in terms of tomorrow? You. That's it. You will not find a horse planning its retirement. You're not going to find a couple of hogs sitting in a pen going, well, honey, where do you want to eat tomorrow? Okay? It ain't happening. The only creatures on the face of this earth created by God that have been given the ability to abstractly think and plan the future is you. That's it. You are the crown of creation. You have abilities that no other creature on this earth has. None. Because you can sit and think, okay, where do we want to go tomorrow? What do we want to do tomorrow? You can create all different kinds of scenarios in your head and then pick from those scenarios which one you want to follow. No other creature can do that. You're unique, created in the image of God, given by Him a godlike ability that other creatures don't have. And it breaks my heart to see people who don't value that. People who take that for granted. People who somehow act like the life that we've been given isn't incredibly special. Man, you have a gift, there's no way you can put a price on what we've got. We get to live. The vast majority of this universe doesn't know what it is to live. We get to live. And not just live, but plan and enjoy and dream and share and love and all that goes with that. What an incredible gift that is that God's given to us. And it's a tragedy to take this gift for granted. Man, it breaks my heart. I see all these kids out here and they're drinking themselves to death and they're doping themselves to death. And I'm like, oh my God, you've got this amazing gift and you're blowing it. You're throwing it away. You're treating it like it's nothing. And it's the most special thing anybody could ever know. There's no price you can put on what we've got. There isn't. It's invaluable. And we shouldn't ever take it for granted. Appreciate the gift you've been given. It's so important that you do that. And let me end with this. Redeem the time. Don't waste it. So many people go through life and they just waste it. They just throw it away. Man, if somebody gave you a bag of diamonds, would you just toss it in the trash? And God's giving you something far more valuable than a bag of diamonds. He's giving you life. And all the opportunities that go with life, all the chances to make a difference that go with life, all the meaning that comes with life. He's giving you all of that. Appreciate what that means. Value it and redeem that time. You got an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others. You got an opportunity to glorify your God. You've got an opportunity to make a difference in the time that you've been given on this earth. What a special, incredibly precious gift that is. And so James says, understand how brief your life is. Understand what a precious gift it is. Don't waste the time that you've got. And so approach the future wisely. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. You don't. And that's okay. I mean, we can make plans. We can. But we need to understand, and it's absolutely true, that we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And so it's not wise to try to play God. Let's allow God to be God. Let's trust that He's in control. Let's trust that He knows what He's doing. And when things are good, we consider them good because that means easy, right? We praise Him. And when things aren't so good, it's okay. We praise Him because He's in control. and he knows what's best. And if we start trying to climb up on the throne, he says what? That's evil. And it is. Because we're trying to assume a position that we are in no way prepared to assume. And finally, respect the brevity of life. Appreciate the gift that God's given to you. It's incredibly precious, incredibly special. Value it and embrace it and use it to His glory and to the benefit of others. If we can help you in your walk with the Lord this morning, whether it's to begin that walk as you're baptized into Christ, if we can pray with you, if we can help you in any way, won't you come while we stand and while we sing?